Order. This meeting will be focused on the approval of our 2025-2026 budget. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people of this territory, past, present, and future. So the first item on the agenda is, the second item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. So the agenda is in your package. Could I have a motion for any additions, deletions, or changes to the order or changes to the content in the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of that agenda.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Oh, sorry, I can't see everybody. I don't know who got there first.
Deputy Mayor Gallant.
Okay.
And I can second.
Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried. All right, next item is a resolution, and at this point, I'll turn the chair of the meeting over to the chair of the Finance and Technology Committee, Councillor Jody Jackson.
Thank you, Worship. It is my pleasure to present on behalf of Stratford Town Council some highlights of the 2025-2026 Town of Stratford budget. The upcoming year will be an exciting one for our community as we celebrate our 30th anniversary. We hope that you too are proud to call Stratford home and take some time this coming year to reflect on where we've come and look ahead with optimism to the next 30 years of Stratford. Where we come from, sorry. Preparation of the budget again this year has been a challenge with some tough choices made. As we've noted in the past, and as continues to be the case, the town of Stratford and all island municipalities are without an updated revenue sharing agreement with the province of PEI. We continue to negotiate and are hopeful that a resolution will soon come, but until then, it is increasingly difficult to maintain the level of service and growth required for our community within the current means available to us. It should also be noted that unlike other levels of government, municipalities are not able to project a deficit when preparing our annual budget. So we, as a unified council, are committed, however, to making the tough but necessary decisions on your behalf and ensuring that we continue to set our community up for success both now and into the future. We have continued to be fiscally responsible council while advocating for our needs as a growing municipality. Last year, we announced the first year of a planned residential 2-cent municipal tax increase for each of the next 3 years. This increase both last year and again this coming year will assist us in delivering the various projects and services you have come to expect and deserve, while also allowing us to plan for and make investments in areas that are needed for the town's continued growth and development. We thank the residents who took the time to review our draft budget and provide their comments through our draft budget survey earlier this month. We are pleased to see that the overall respondents are pleased with the budget direction and proposed areas of expenditure and investment. For those who provided them, we have reviewed your comments and appreciate you taking the time to provide them to us. So revenue and expenses. The 2025-2026 Town of Stratford budget forecasts an operating surplus of $500 for the upcoming year, once depreciation and the principal payments on long-term debt are accounted for. The town again commits to residents that should any surplus exist at the end of the year, that it be placed in a reserve to support future investments in the community, including the community campus. The town of Stratford is limited in the sources of revenue available to us, relying primarily on property taxes, utility charges, and fees to pay for our services, programs, and infrastructure, with funding sources and programs also regularly explored. As previously mentioned, in order to meet the needs of today as well as in the future, a 2-cent residential property tax increase is included in the current budget as a second of a 3-year planned increase. Our 2025-26 budget includes continued investment in our community through priorities which we know are important to you. These include areas such as active transportation, transit, policing and fire protection, technology, parks and recreation, tree planting and forest management planning, climate change mitigation, housing, and more. Your council will continue to be forward-thinking and make investments for the future of our community. In exploring where our largest expenditures are, policing and fire protection make up the largest portion of the general government expenditures at over 40% of our budget. The largest departmental expense in all other departments is salaries and benefits, except for in the Finance and Technology Department, which sees interest payments on capital investments as the largest expense by approximately $30,000 more than salaries and benefits. The capital budget. The town's capital budget for 2025-2026 is $24,797,536, which after infrastructure funding and other funding partners in the amount of $15,922,405 will have a net cost of $8,875,131. Funding for town capital includes $3 million in New Deal funding, $2.4 million in Investing in Canada funding, $4.2 million in active transportation funding, with the remainder from a variety of other funding sources. The utility capital budget is $9 million, $73,770, of which the town has applied for infrastructure funding of $3.5 million from the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, $783,421 from the Investing in Canada Fund, and $500,000 in various climate adaptation funding for a net capital expenditure of $3,722,849. It should be noted that with many capital projects, the town is only able to proceed with them through funding partnerships. We continue to regularly and proactively research and apply for various funding opportunities. So I'll speak to some budget highlights right now. The community campus. The community campus continues to be looked at as a jewel for our community in the future through forward thinking by our current council, our staff, and our wider community. The upcoming year will be another exciting one, with the sports field scheduled to be completed to have ready for open for the 2026 playing season. We have also recently had a private pickleball facility announce their plans to locate their facility on the community campus, with an opening in the works for late 2025. This facility will greatly complement the community campus as well. Expressions of interest continue to come forward for the development of the new business park lots, which are found on the south end of John Joe Sark Drive, and it is the town's hope that to have sales of many of these during the upcoming year. This past year saw the road, John Joe Sark Drive, made public and the active transportation path open. The province of PEI is well underway in the construction of the high school, and a future junior high has been announced for the property, with the construction timeline not known at this time, but it is in the 5-year capital budget. It was also exciting to announce the first major funder for the community campus, with Provincial Credit Union supporting the new Stratford Youth Centre component with a $500,000 contribution. The community campus property is well underway, and we hope to have an announcement in the near future of funding to develop the community wellness facility, which will house not only Stratford Youth Centre, but it's also planned to include sporting facilities, cultural space, and leased commercial space. We believe that the investments in this property are necessary to meet the current and future needs of our growing community. The current budget has a sports levy increase of $5 per player included, which will assist the town in covering some of the costs associated with items like field maintenance, staffing, expanded field operation, and other related areas. These services are never provided at a cost recovery level, but it is important to recognize that, like other areas of our lives, costs are continually increasing, and we believe that $25 per player annually, which is the new rate for this year coming, that these fees remain low for the low cost for the service provided. So transit expansion. The town of Stratford has allocated funding to take further steps towards a more inter-community transit service. The annual resident survey is currently underway and has questions for residents regarding this service, and council and staff look forward to this feedback, as well as to working with the transit provider to find ways to help residents move within Stratford more seamlessly. Michael Thomas Waterfront Park. The boardwalk and lookouts at Michael Thomas Park were officially opened this past fall and allow residents and visitors better access to this space. Another addition this past year was the Harry and Donna James Pavilion, which was opened in time for the town to hold her first Christmas tree lighting in the park. With the connection to Charlottetown from the boardwalk across the active transportation lane on the Hillsborough Bridge, and with plans on the Charlottetown side for a new park, this will bring opportunity for further development of the commercial land around the waterfront park, as well as for additional phases of development in the park in accordance with our master plan. We look forward to holding many other events in this space and know it will be a popular place for residents and visitors to gather. Shape Stratford and Housing Accelerator funding. Town of Stratford continues to be seen as a leader through our Shape Stratford project and with projects underway through the Housing Accelerator Fund. These programs are allowing us to support projects and initiatives which will lead to more housing units in the town of Stratford. Sorry. The Housing Accelerator Fund is also allowing us to undertake a review of our official plan and bylaw, which began in the fall of 2024 and will continue throughout 2025. While Shape Stratford assisted us in identifying some of the systemic challenges built into our existing process in building public and council support for projects that increase density, the Housing Accelerator funding allows us to recognize these needed changes and then plan for and adapt solutions which will lead to both successful housing projects and continued community growth. Through both these initiatives, conversations with the community continue to be important, and residents are encouraged to be a part of planning for our future when any engagement opportunities are available. So some other highlights of the 2025-26 budget include expansion of the e-watch camera system. New one, I think, went up today. Enhancements at 4 community parks as well as in some neighborhood parks. Installation of mural art at select locations. The Poppy Project and other arts and culture projects. Addition of a parking lot on Shepherd Drive for users of the waterfront park. Building assessments at the Stratford Town Center and Robert Cotton facility. Expanded beautification and snow removal budgets. A new town website to launch later this year. Expansion of the active transportation network, and that one is subject to funding. So those are some of the highlights for this year. On the utility side, the Stratford utility operates on a cash recovery basis, and as such, the town continually analyzes expenses to ensure that the rates for customers are equitable among our customers while being sufficient to meet our long-term needs. The upcoming budget includes a modest consumer price index, CPI, increase of 1.9% to base and consumption rates effective April 1st, 2025. This increase will mean an average increase of about $16 over the coming year, or approximately $4 per quarterly billing cycle. Stratford utility customers continue to demonstrate their support by limiting their personal use of water where possible and supporting our conservation methods and programs. As an example, eligible residents may receive a rebate of up to $2,000 to have a sump pump redirected from the municipal water sewer system and a battery backup system installed. Other water saving initiatives in place currently are a low flow showerhead exchange program and low flow toilet rebate program. Please visit our website to learn more about any of these programs, which are all very well put together and are well used by our residents. The upcoming year will see projects by Stratford Utility, including further investigative video surveying of sections of the town sewer system, installation of standby generators at a few of our larger and/or most vulnerable sewage lift stations. It's very important after Fiona. Addition of fire hydrants in the core area, and the replacement of the water distribution system in Reeves Estates, and that one's subject to funding, but we're hoping for some funding for that. So in closing, on behalf of my fellow members of council, I would first like to thank our town staff for their ongoing efforts. I can assure you that they are working hard for you every day and are mindful of the budget set forth and watching their expenditures carefully. I'd also like to thank my fellow council members who have shown their dedication and passion for our community's success throughout the budget process by engaging, listening, and having thoughtful discussion. While global instability and uncertainty remains around U.S. tariffs, I would like to assure residents that we are monitoring the situation and making adjustments like you are. We live in the best community and in the greatest country, and together we will get through all of this. Our residents are one of our greatest assets in Stratford. We appreciate the time you give to your community volunteering, supporting causes, and being involved. We continue to thank you and hope that you will continue to participate when asked to, whether through the annual resident survey, coming out to public engagement sessions, or responding to the draft budget process. Your participation and input really matter, and they are important and very necessary. Thank you for your ongoing trust in us to make the best decisions on your behalf. So as we reflect on the 30th anniversary of the town of Stratford, I hope that you're proud of where you live, work, and play. Our community is truly the best community, and together we will continue to prosper and grow. Our future is full of opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson.
Thank you.
Great job on the budget. I really think that this budget reflects the priorities of our town, our residents, and of council as established by our priority setting exercise in the first year of this council. So it has been adjusted as need be, but for the most part, it really responds to our priorities and the needs and the wants of our citizens.
Thank you, Your Worship.
So with that, Councillor, I believe there are some
I
resolutions.
do have some resolutions. I'm going to go back to my seat, if that's okay. I don't know if
Yeah.
I shut this off
Yeah,
on you.
by all means.
Stays on? All right. So the first resolution, as I continue to scroll here, Town of Stratford Resolution FT 001-2025, adoption of the 2025-26 operating budget, moved by myself. So be it resolved that the 2025-26 Town of Stratford operating budget with revenue of $11,750,100, expenses of $11,535,900, and an allocation to a reserve for future growth of $213,700 for an operating surplus of $500 be hereby approved in accordance with the following revenue and expense tables. And they are in your package. And I don't have to read those out, I don't believe. Happy to, though. Be it further resolved that the non-commercial municipal tax rate be set at 49 cents per $100 of assessment for 2025. The non-commercial non-resident municipal tax rate be set at 98 cents per $100 of assessment for 2025. The non-commercial apartment municipal tax rate be set at 74 cents per $100 of assessment for 2025. The non-commercial non-resident apartment municipal tax rate be set at $1.48 per $100 of assessment for 2025. The non-commercial motel municipal tax rate be set at 74 cents per $100 of assessment for 2025. The non-commercial non-resident motel municipal tax rate be set at $1.48 per $100 of assessment for 2025. And the commercial municipal tax rate be set at $1.35 per $100 of assessment for 2025. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Finance Committee from a meeting held on February 26, 2025. So moved.
Okay, thank you, and I'll ask the Vice Chair of the Finance and Technology Committee, Councillor Jeff McDonald, to second that motion.
And I will be happy to do so, Your Worship.
Thank you. Okay, we have a moved and seconded motion. Oh, I'm sorry, is the mic not on? Is it on now? Oh,
Yes.
okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we have a moved and seconded motion on the floor. Any discussion? Anything anyone would like to say about the motion?
I would like to speak to the motion, Your Worship, and my intention is not to speak to every resolution that's before us here this evening, so I'd like to have the chance to speak briefly globally on all of the resolutions, though in particular I'll just address the operating budget. First of all, I'd like to congratulate my fellow member of council, Mr. Jackson, on delivering his first budget. He's done so in his usual style with brevity, but also explaining exactly where we're at, and I congratulate him on his work as well as the Finance Committee for doing so. He's taken over stewardship of that file from Councillor Dowling, who always was able to deliver a budget that's reflective of our priorities, but also the requirements of our municipality. To this end, the budget certainly is, as always for many municipalities and many governments in the developed world, a challenging one, a balancing of many competing interests and wants and desires. The theme that I would like to highlight in our budget is that, first of all, we are responsive to our citizens' requests. We are responsive to our citizens' input in the form of our surveys. But also, we are balancing what the citizens are requesting through their input to us with a bold vision of significant investment in the town, particularly at the waterfront, but also in particular with respect to our wellness center and community campus. We are taking our requests from our citizens to keep residential areas just that seriously, and balancing that with significant investment at the waterfront as well as our community campus. We view these as the jewels, the future jewels of the city that will become hubs for development, as well as centers of, I would expect, great recreational and commercial activity. And we look forward to the development of both of those initiatives. And we are putting our money where our mouth is. We are making significant investments in both areas. And I think that's really reflective of all of the resolutions that are going to be before us today. But I did wish to speak globally to those. I fully support the budget as presented here in this resolution, because it is reflective of a significant process that's undergone every year through soliciting citizen input, through Herculean efforts from town finance staff to cobble this together, from extensive consultations amongst council in a number of meetings leading up to this matter. This is a very long, ongoing process that begins almost as soon as it ends every year, and I think that's reflective in the concise nature of these resolutions, but it's literally the tip of the iceberg, I would suggest, in the form of the work that goes into these documents. So I appreciate all of the work that goes into these documents. I appreciate the consideration that goes into arriving at the numbers that we have, and I do fully support this resolution as well. I would expect the other resolutions that we're going to be dealing with here today.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Any other comments or questions, observations? Okay, if not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Motion carried. Okay, next resolution, item number 4 on our agenda. Councillor Jackson?
Yep. Thank you, Worship. Town of Stratford Resolution FT002-2025, adoption of 2025-2026 capital budget and 4-year capital plan, coming from the Finance Technology Committee, moved by myself. Whereas, as part of the Municipal Government Act, the Town of Stratford is required to submit a 5-year capital expenditure plan that includes an asset management program. Be it resolved that the 2025-26 capital budget, per the following schedules, be approved in the amount of $24,797,536, less Investing in Canada funding of $2,385,505, Canada Community Building Fund of $3,050,000, and other funding of $10,486,900, for a net town capital budget of $8,875,131. Be it further resolved that the attached 4-year capital plan covering the years 2026-27 to 2029-30, per the following schedules, be approved. And I'm scrolling through here. So this resolution bears the recommendation of the Finance Committee from a meeting held on February 26, 2025. So moved.
Thank you, Councillor. Seconded, I'll ask Deputy Mayor Gallant to second that motion.
I'll second that motion, Your Worship.
Thank you. Okay, we now have a moved and seconded motion on the floor. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Great. I'll move on to the next one, Your Worship.
Yep.
Town of Stratford Resolution number FT003-2025, adoption of 2025-26 utility operating budget, coming by the Finance and Technology Committee and moved by myself. Be it resolved that the attached 2025-26 Stratford Utility Corporation operating budget with revenues of $3,920,600 and expenses of $3,910,000 for a surplus of $10,600 be approved as follows, and the tables are in front of us. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Finance Committee from a meeting held on February 26, 2025. So moved.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll ask former Chair of Finance, Councillor Ron Dowling, to second that.
I second that motion, Your Worship.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion on this? I guess it's just a cost of living increase to utility? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Any comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship. We'll move to the next one, Town of Stratford Resolution Number FT004-2025, adoption of 2025-26 utility capital budget, coming by the Finance Committee, moved by myself. Whereas as part of the Municipal Government Act, the Town of Stratford is required to submit a 5-year capital expenditure plan that includes an asset management program. And be it resolved that the following tables for the 2025-26 utility capital budget be approved in the amount of $9,073,770, less investing in Canada funding of $783,421, municipal strategic component funding of $240,000, Canada Housing Infrastructure funding of $3,527,500, and other funding of $800,000 for a net capital expenditure of $3,722,849. Be it further resolved that the following table for the 4-year capital plan be approved, covering the years 2026-27 to 2029-30, and they are in your package. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Finance Committee from a meeting held on February 26, 2025. So moved.
Okay, I'll ask Councillor Jill Chandler to second that motion.
Second that motion.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? Any comments? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? No? Motion carried.
Thank you. The next resolution, Town of Stratford Resolution Number FT005-2025, approval of the 2025 utility tariff coming from the Finance Technology Committee and moved by myself. Whereas a comprehensive review of water and sewer expenses, as well as a projected 5-year capital plan, was completed in 2020, and whereas these projections were analyzed through utility rate models to determine the rates for the water and sewer rate payers, and whereas expenses have increased each year due to the cost of inflation, and there will be an increase in utility rates for the current year, and be it resolved that the attached Stratford utility tariff for 2025, which incorporates the following, be hereby approved. The unmetered water rate for a single-family dwelling will increase to $94.37 per quarter as of April 2025. The unmetered sewer rate for a single-family dwelling will increase to $141.30 per quarter as of April 2025. The water base rate for a 5/8 meter customer will increase to $41.86 per quarter as of April 2025. The sewer base rate for a 5/8 meter customer will increase to $62.66 per quarter as of April 2025. The consumption charge for metered water will increase to $1.357 per cubic meter as of April 2025, and the consumption charge for metered sewer will increase to $1.5547 per cubic meter as of April 2025. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Finance Committee from a meeting held on February 26, 2025. So moved.
I'll ask the Vice Chair of Finance, Councillor Jeff McDonald, to second this, if you would.
I will second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Your Worship, just a minor cost of living increase, CPI increase on this. As I mentioned in my address, around $4 per quarter is what we anticipate the increase is going to be. So, it is in keeping with cost of living, and we feel it is well worth the extra for the service that we're able to provide and to keep our fees reasonable.
I believe the CPI is at 1.9? Yeah, 1.9.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, Councillor, the utility does operate on a cost recovery basis, so it's not meant to make a profit, but it's not meant, we can't lose money on it either, so this is just paying the bills.
That's right.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Town of Stratford Resolution FT 006-2025, the fees bylaw number 39, revised Schedule A, coming from the Finance Technology Committee and moved by myself. Whereas council established a fees bylaw number 39, to set fees for licenses, permits, programs, facility rentals, and other matters. And whereas Schedule A of the bylaw contains the fee amounts that can be amended by simple resolution. And whereas the town, as part of the budget process, reviews Schedule A on an annual basis, and whereas it is desirable to amend the fee schedule, be it resolved that the attached revised Schedule A of the fees bylaw number 39, dated March 26, 2025, be hereby approved. And be it resolved that the attached revised Schedule A to the fees bylaw number 39, dated March 26, 2029, be hereby approved. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Finance Committee from a meeting held on February 26, 2025. So moved.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll ask the Vice Chair of Recreation Committee, Councillor Jill Chandler, if she would second this motion.
Yes, I will second the motion.
Thank you.
Your Worship.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just want to comment myself on this. I think that it is important that we really look at these fees and really try to set a fair rate, which has been done. This has been looked at through the Finance Committee. It's been looked at by staff, and it's been determined, and I know there's been consultation with the association. So I think this is a fair approach, and I hope that it will be well received and understood that it is, even though we're not operating on a cost recovery basis, we do need to pay somewhat towards the costs of delivering all the programs. And the programs are excellent, the programs that are delivered, all the maintenance, the field maintenance, and all those sorts of things. They get more expensive every year, and it is something that really has to be done. And so for that reason, that's why this motion is being put forward.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. And just to that point, you know, the costs, even though they have increased this year, we have made significant investments in not only the programs, but the facilities. We have some new fields. We have some, we're constantly kind of increasing our amounts that we're paying for, you know, gas for lawnmowers, things like that. So we do recognize that any increased cost is not desirable, but we're keeping it to the minimum where we can, and really feel like, you know, for the extra $5 for a lot of the sports users, it's a good investment in these new fields, these new facilities that we have invested in and will continue to. So again, acknowledge the feedback we received from some folks, but I think we are, you know, across the board, we're trying to keep any increases to the minimum, and this is in keeping with that.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
I just wanted to say that we do, and I've said this before, we take all these discussions very seriously, and communication from residents, concerns from our partners and different sporting associations. And I know that we did receive feedback on the fee increase. It wasn't arbitrary at all. And I also think that when we keep in mind in registration fees, those are made up of Town of Stratford levy, fees from the association itself, its national partners, et cetera. So there's a lot that goes into those fees, and users could see an increase or will see an increase across the board, but that's because it's costing all of us more to deliver the services at every level. And I think that we're experiencing that as residents, you know, in everything we do, you know. So, yeah, we didn't take it lightly, so.
No, thank you.
And as a parent of, you know, sports players, et cetera,
yeah.
you know, we consider these things, and we know it impacts families, but.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor. Any other comments or questions? All right, if not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. I think that,
No, that's it.
thank you, to Councillor Jackson. And
I just want to make a comment, Your Worship. express my appreciation to Councillor Jackson, our senior management team, and all town staff, in particular our CAO, Jeremy Crosby, and our Director of Finance. It's a lot of work goes into pulling a budget together, and I think this is a very solid, common sense budget that'll meet our immediate needs and our near future needs. And I just want to compliment everyone involved, and particularly in relation to the efforts made to consult with the community and the many opportunities council has had to provide input into this budget as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Yeah, if I may, just before we close out here, I do want to thank Councillor Dowling and former Chair of Finance. You know, the first real increase in taxes in the number of years was last year. That's not easy to do, and it was, you know, it wasn't without a lot of thought and debate and things like that. So I appreciate the leadership that Councillor Dowling and Director O'Connell and the staff have given over the last couple of years. And you know, we are sticking to the plan. I think that's one thing where governments can be criticized for, you know, flip-flopping a lot. We are sticking to this plan. We are going to see it through. And, you know, if we get the good fortune of some increases in revenues and things like that, we will look at it in the future. But I want to thank all the residents for their feedback, their kind words around this, and their support for our plan for going forward. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor just mentioned to me that maybe we should acknowledge the support as well of the federal and provincial governments to our town, and the fact that we do receive a lot of funding from federal
Absolutely.
and provincial governments. So
Yeah,
we're appreciative of that.
We are. Just in sticking to the plan, we conveyed our plan not only for just the growth of the town, you know, for the last number of years, but also in the campus, and we are fortunate to have the support. We've had support of multiple levels of government to do what we've got done, got completed in there already. We're looking forward to more, you know, three-level support in the future, and looking forward to announcing something there soon, hopefully. But do want to acknowledge that as much as we believe in the town, our provincial government, our federal government also do, and they've seen this, and you know, wouldn't be putting new schools and all the infrastructure in here if they didn't. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Your Worship, and I wish I would have said that earlier. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it also, we do continue to have recreational, especially recreational infrastructure needs, but also cultural and other infrastructure needs that we're really hopeful that we'll be able to receive funding from federal and provincial government for putting those in place, which are badly needed by our residents. So thank you, everybody, for all your contributions to this budget. Thank you to staff and everybody that worked towards this. And thank you to residents who really gave us their feedback and provided input to this budget. So with all that, I'll now, unless anyone has any other comments, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. I'll move. Thank you. We're now adjourned. Thank you.